Good morning, y'all. Good afternoon, good day, whatever time it may be where you're at. This is Robin Tala coming to you from Northern California. And I'm going to talk with you today about duplication. So maybe you've never heard that word before, or maybe you have no idea how it applies to our business model. But it is one of the, if not the most foundational concept to making this leveraged business model, this opportunity to create residual income and residual impact work. So I like to start by actually asking the question, do you know what residual income or residual impact actually means? And you can type it in the chat if you know. If you're not quite sure, that's all good. If you're watching this video recorded, just ask yourself, do you know what that means? Well, I'm going to explain it to you just in case you don't, because it's really important concept to understand. So residual income. So this is the concept of creating a mechanism that continues generating money, okay? So it's detaching your income earning from your time, from the hours you have in the day. So for example, real estate or the stock market, or in some cases, cryptocurrency, can all be residual income. And a way that I like to explain it is, imagine that you're listening to the radio and you hear a Beyonce track, okay? Well, she's getting paid for that track being on the radio. However, at that moment that you're listening, she is not in the recording studio recording it and playing it straight to your speakers live at that moment. She recorded that song months, maybe years ago, and you are listening to a recording of it, and she is getting paid for that recording. So that income that she makes is residual because she spent that hour, or that, likely probably many hours or a couple days creating that track, but then it continues to pay her and her staff and her managers and all that over and over and over and over again. The more it gets played, the more people buy the track digitally, et cetera, et cetera. So that's a really good illustration for residual income. It's income that's not tied to your time. So if you have income that's tied to the amount of hours you have in the day, that's a $1 per hour gig, like being, say, a massage therapist, or, driving for Lyft, or most jobs out there, bagging groceries, or even, starting your own business in many cases, or opening a retail shop or a boutique. You are limited to the amount of time that you have. You can only charge so much for your time. The more you increase your mastery, maybe you can up your hourly rate. But at some point, you hit a cap of how much time you have and what your hourly rate is. So the magic of ethical networking, of the network marketing business model, is that it creates residual income. When you connect people with the product or service that the company is providing, and they fall in love with those products or services, then you continue to make money every single time they order. Now, some people say, is that passive income? Well, passive income is a relative term, because maybe for some of your customers it might be. Maybe you have a customer who just goes it out on their own and never talks to you and just makes orders, and maybe that's passive income. But for the most part, I wouldn't call this passive income necessarily. I like to call it residual income, because it's actually a joy to continue connecting with the people who are the customers who are buying our product, and for the brand partners who are engaging with sharing this out into the world. So as people make those orders, you get a percentage of that on a continual basis forever, for the lifetime of the customer. So that is residual income, and that's what we mean when we say stepping away from the $1 per hour economy, because with this, you can expand the dollars you're making past the amount of hours that you have in the day. And I think that is incredible. And it's when you start to really feel the residual income you're making get larger than the income you may be making from other streams of income or just from your direct commissions from selling products, which are a little bit closer to the dollar per hour model. When you see that residual, that time after time income, month after month grow larger, it's a really special feeling. So there's a very key concept here to creating residual income, because go ahead and nod your head, give me a 3 in the chat if you feel that excited and you want to create residual income in your life, right? It's exciting. So in order to do that, there is a key concept that you have to understand, and that concept is duplication. So in order to create that residual income, now there's a couple different sort of levels of residual income. One is a residual income that you can make from just the people that you have talked to personally. And even though that residual income can continue to come in, it's gonna build quite slowly, because again, you have only so much time in your day and in your year and only so many people you can talk to. So if you really want to create massive abundance, wild abundance, if you want to create substantial residual income, if you want to put a comma in your check every single week, every single month, maybe you want to put a couple zeros ahead of that comma or more, or even eventually 2 commas in your check, then you really have to look at how can I take this further than just the amount of people I can talk to. And that's where duplication is foundational. And if you're smart, you'll start duplicating methods that work from the very beginning, so you don't have to go back and redo how you're doing everything. So I want to explain to you how that works. So when you find another person who is excited to share these products with their community, or someone who uses the products and just is so stoked and feels like they want to start sharing it with people, this is the moment where you can really start creating that duplication. So you're essentially duplicating yourself in them, and then they start sharing it with people, and then you're making a percentage of everyone that they share with. And then if those people then find people who want to share, you're making a percentage of everything that all of the people that those people share with for multiple generations. But the key to this is using tools and systems that are tried and true and actually create duplication. Because if you find someone who's really excited to share this and they just go out and start sharing it individually and not using the tools, then that actually doesn't duplicate very well. Because then think about it, if they're out there, like say they did learn a lot about the products and they can talk about them really well, and they just go talk one-on-one to people out there, well, the people who find out, who hear about it from them, might be very excited about it, but they think in either their conscious or their subconscious mind, well, I couldn't do that because I am not an expert like them, or I don't have enough time to learn all that stuff, so I can't share it. What we have to show people is that it's simple. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to know all the facts about the products. Really, it's all about speaking in I feel statements. And I made this mistake because I am a science dork and I do love learning about the products. And for a while, I was telling people too much. And then I was hearing feedback that people are like, oh, that's great that you don't know all that stuff, but I don't know that stuff. So even though I knew it, I needed to simplify. So one of the tools for duplication, or one of the methods for creating duplication, is using tools to share rather than just sharing yourself. So what your job is is to create curiosity, not satisfy it. So what we want you to do, and the way to really duplicate, is to just tell your story. Tell your story about what you care about what you believe in, about the life that you want to create, about your challenges in life and what you're doing about them. And eventually you might be telling your story about how you feel using these superfoods or CBDs, but you actually don't have to have that experience to start out with the products to start sharing. You can start sharing just based on why you chose to do this, what has been your challenge in life, and what you're doing about it. And we call this the hero's journey format. We call this sharing our story medicine. So that is one of the tools for duplication. So everything that you learn here in this group and in these units, and from the person who shared this with you, are tools that will create duplication. So things like a connect call, which is where if you find someone who's interested and they want to know more, rather than you just answering all their questions, find a time to get them on the phone and then check with your mentor, your upline leader, the person who shared this with you, or maybe the executive or the diamond in your line, and create a time for them to get on the phone with the new person you have who's interested. Even if you could tell them everything they needed to know, by getting them on the phone with someone else, what you're showing them is that all they have to do to share this is to get people that they know who are interested on the phone with you. And that's easy. So we have to make it easy in order to spread. We have to make it easy in order to create the residual income and the residual impact. If you think about how many people you want to be helping in this world, do you want that to be limited to how many people you can personally talk to in a day or in a week or in a month or in a year? If you want that impact that you're having on the world to be larger, then using these tools will do that. Teaching people how to share it rather than just sharing it with them. Teaching them with your actions. They might not even know they want to share. They might be someone who came to you and said, oh yeah, all I want to do is just use the products. I'm not interested in sharing. But they might get interested later, actually. So modeling this from the get-go is really crucial. If you don't, a lot of people have to go back and reteach people, and that's not fun. What this is doing when you start using duplication from the get-go is it's creating your team's culture, your future team's culture. And you don't wait to create that culture until you have a team. You create a team by seeding your culture. So doing things like placing your first of the month order and doing a business plan and a vision statement on the first of the month and making that your personal practice, your energetic signature to the universe to say, I am serious about this, I am open for business. The kinds of people who are also going to commit to these practices of duplication are the people I'm calling in. This is seeding your team culture from the very beginning. So when you think about it, basically what I'm talking about is a fractal in action. If you don't know what a fractal is something that spreads, that duplicates. It's exactly the same as it spreads out. So I just wanted to reflect on duplication for a while here, because I'm going to take this video that you're watching right now and use it as part of the curriculum that we're developing in our social sharing units. So I'm going to move from this in a moment back to the mastermind where I'm originally recording this. But if you're watching this in the units, just know that by using these units and by engaging in the tools that we're creating here for you, and that we're teaching you, this will lay the foundation for you to be the most successful and to get you into success as quickly as possible. So I hope that you understand and are excited about using the tools we've created. We, as leaders, have made the mistakes that we don't want you to have to make. So please use these tools to create duplication in your organization so that you can have the shortest possible path to achieving your goals. Thanks for watching this, and we'll see you in the next unit.